for loops, we will see how these loops can be used for counting the elements of the list, and also we can see the sum of all the elements inside the list, and also we shall see how we can use the break statement here, break statement along with some conditional statements like if, okay, along with the for loop. So these are some examples or some different approaches how we can use the for loops. I could say some case studies. Okay. So now we shall see, and we shall take an example. Like, suppose I have a friends. Okay, I have a list of friends. List. See here, we are not yet familiar with the list. Let me explain what do you mean by a list. List always starts with the square bracket, and the elements inside the list are separated by commas. Okay, here a comma is separating the elements. Here I have a list of friends. Okay, so let me call some friends. So Joseph. Okay, I have another friend. This was a very typical example given in the textbook, so I'm just trying to take the same names here and say SJBIT and say PCE and so on. So here, can you read this list now? List are enclosed or encapsulated inside the square brackets, and each elements are separated by commas. Of course, I can have the values of list in a different way, like this also. Since I have said the list of names, let me just try to restrict myself to the names or characters, right? So now if I want to read the elements inside this list, okay, so I will use the for loop for then iterations. See here, understand. So let me just first tell you the syntax of this for loop. So for loop is something like this. So I'll put the syntax here. Syntax of the for loop is like this. So for value in sequence colon, understand, for value in sequence. So this is a header for value in sequence. So for and in are the keywords. Value is my iterative variable and sequence is the list where you are looking for. Okay, so for val in sequence, then followed by an indentation, and this is the body for. This is the body of for. See here, I'll take this now. For value, I can have any value. So here the value, I can call it as a name, right? For name in, see here, for name in friends. Be careful with the variable. For name in friends colon. For name in friends, let me just convert this to quotes. For name in friends, so what I need to do? Print. Let me print a name if at the beginning. So what is name here? Name is an iterative variable. For and in. Friends is a list or sequence where you are trying to iterate. So for name in friends colon. So this ends. This is the header. This is the header of the loop and followed by an indentation. This is a body of the loop. Body of the for loop. So now if I run this program, if I run this piece of code, you shall see at every iteration the name, this variable or this value is changed. In the first iteration, for name in friends, it will go to the friends and it will take the first element. So in the first iteration, it is the first element of the list. So that is Joseph. The second element, it is a second name, Glenn, and the third iteration, it is SJBIT, and the fourth iteration, it is EC. Correct? So for loop is looping through a known set of items. So it runs through as many iterations as there inside with respect to the items inside the list or set. Understand? In Python terms, the variable friends is a list of 3 to 4 strings here. Here this is the list of 4 strings, and the for loop goes through the list and executes the body. One for each of these string in the resulting output is printed as name. You can also add say good morning or if you want to wish, you see. Okay, you can use some print statement, something like this. Okay, and would say good morning and add the names and see here. Now if I want to understand, so now just say print done. This is out of the body of the loop. Okay, this print statement, the second print statement is out of the body of this for loop. So now if I say, you could see the last statement that is out of the body and it says done. Okay, so now any doubt? So now just try to see the loop patterns. Just let me know guys if you have any doubt so that we can go to the loop patterns now. You have to understand here for and in are keywords or the functions. Name, this can be anything. This can be my variable name. Okay, this can be anything. This is user defined. With friends, of course, you can have any names too. So this is iterative variable. I can call it as iter var. Iter var. So as I've already told you, to have a mnemonic kind of name. So what I did, I would say for name. Okay, for name in friends. So this name is an iterative variable. Okay. So shall we go to the loop patterns now?
Yes, sir.
Why such a low voice? What happened? Hello, I hope you guys are feeling good. Doing
Yes,
good,
sir.
feeling
Yes, sir.
well, feeling healthy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, be positive, be confident, and make sure that you stay safe and stay healthy all these times during this crucial situation. So we shall go to the loop patterns. I'm very happy today because we have all 41 students present in the class. Yeah, congratulations to you. A big round of applause. So now let me just go to the loop patterns. Here we are going to study the two different types of loop patterns. So how we can use these loops to understand the patterns. Usually loops like while or for go through a list of items, correct? It goes through a list of items or the contents of a file. If you are reading a text file or an image file or a notepad or an HTML file. So what happens? Your loop, for loop or while loop, it goes inside the content of that file. And if you are looking for something like say largest value or a smallest value of the data or the largest string or a smallest string of a data or in an HTML page, if you're looking for a particular URL or a particular HTML pages, okay, which navigates to other pages, to other HTML documents. So if you're looking for a specific document or if you're looking through a set of mails in your inbox, understand, if you're looking through a set of mails in your inbox, which is spam, which is not a spam, okay, or do I have received a mail from a particular domain ID, say .edu.in, sjbit.edu.in. In these situations, so what you do, you're looking for something that we can scan through across the different documents. So general rules for construction of loops, what you need to do, you have to initialize one or more variables before the loop starts. You have to initialize, right? So here I initialized a variable. So second, perform some computation on each item in the loop body, possibly changing the variables in the body of the loop, and then look at the resulting variables. So I mean to say, so what I need to do here, if I am trying to count, say I'll be using this loop for counting purpose. So I will just initialize a count is equal to 0. Okay. Is it okay? I initialize the variable. Then I will declare another variable, that is iterative variable. This can be anything. This is user defined. You can also say A is for A in, something like that. For iter var in list. Say for example, I have a list of values 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17. Okay, one you have an even number here. Okay, this is a list of odd numbers now. Okay, these are the list of odd numbers. Now, how many odd numbers are there? So now, here I am trying to count the number of events which are odd. How many number of events which are odd here? Okay, just say how many number of numbers are there. How many numbers are there? That would be best. So to count how many numbers are there. For now here I'll use for iter var in this list. So this is the list. Now I say count is equal to count plus 1. Okay, count is equal to count plus 1, and I'll print count outside the for loop. Understand? I'll print outside the for loop. Now, if I run this program, you could say I have how many elements here? I have 8 elements. If I try to push this print inside the for loop, see now giving us one indentation, 4 spaces, it goes inside the for loop. So now these 2 sentences are inside the for loop. Now if I run this statement, at every iteration the count is printed. See here, at every iteration the count is printed. So what do you mean by this? So this is an iterative variable which iterates inside the list of elements. Suppose if you want to print the count, okay, fine here. Now if I want to see, okay, let me run this program again. So how many elements are there? 8 elements. Suppose if I print iter var, so what will be printed? Can I get the answer? Suppose if I say print variable, the iterative variable here. So what happens with respect to the first iteration? What happens in the first iteration?
3 will be printed, sir.
3, 5, 7, 9 and so on, right? So in the first iteration, the value of this variable is 3. So it will be printed and it's still in the loop. Why? Because there are many more elements inside the sequence. So in the second iteration, 5, 7, 9 and so on till 17. Now the loop, the sequence is exhausted with the elements. So it will come out and simply say print count. So this 8 is the number of elements inside the list. So I can say this as number of elements in the sequence. I have to make a comma here. Number of elements in the sequence is 8. Now, can I use this list outside? LST is equal to rather than calling a list here, can I use this list outside? Okay, and now I say LST here. Both are one and the same. So now can you see this? This is a variable in the sequence. List is a sequence here. One and the same. You get the same result. So let me just try to suppress this. The number of elements in the sequence is equal to 8. Correct? What I want to do, so this is counting the numbers. What if I want to add the values inside the list? What if I want to add the element? What if I want to get the sum of all elements inside the sequence of numbers? Can anybody tell what should I do with this for loop if I want to use this for loop to get the sum of all the elements? Come again.
Count equal to count plus ITVR.
Good. So here a small change, rather than calling it as a count, I call another variable called sum is equal to 0. See here I cannot use this sum, so what I do? I use Sm is equal to 0. So here I say Sm is equal to Sm plus ITER VAR. Is it okay? And now I say here sum of elements inside the sequence. Sum of elements inside the sequence is equal to Sm. What happened here? This is should be 0. I said, okay, can you see this now? So what I did, I have declared another variable called Sm is equal to 0. Now since I know at each iteration the value will be equal to the element inside the list, I keep adding that element to this Sm variable. So the sum of elements inside the sequence is Sm. Is it okay? So I use this sum, which is similar to the same loop that computes the total of a set of numbers, right? Total of a set of numbers. Sometimes a variable used in this way. So here Sm, understand Sm, you have used Sm, right? Sm is known as accumulator. It's known as accumulator. So what is accumulator? Accumulator is the variable which is used to accumulate or to sum the values inside the given list or sequence. So this Sm is an accumulator. Any doubt? Any doubt, guys?
No, sir.
Yeah. See, I have a built-in function sum, so that's why I did not use sum here. See here, sum is a built-in function, a keyword. Sum of list, LST. What is the sum of list here? LST is a list here. I simply given an input argument as list to this function, and it says 80. Suppose if I want to create my own function, okay, suppose if I want to create my own function, how do you create a function? The function is created by using a keyword called def my, say for example, my underscore sem is a function which takes the input as list okay, which takes the input as list. Now here I will try to take the same values. I'll put it here. Okay, I'll remove this. So before I'll type this SM is equal to 0, and then I say return SM. Is it okay, guys? Is it okay? Did you see how to create the function which gives me the sum of the elements? Okay, now I can say my underscore sum of LST. So it's one and the same. So just now I created my own function which adds or which sums the value, which adds the elements inside the sequence, okay, and gives or returns the SM value. If I want to say how many count is there, you can add count also here. Count is equal to count plus 1 and return SM comma COUNT. Okay. So can you see this? So what is SM? SM is 80. What is count? It is 8. How many list of elements were there? There are 8 list of elements, numbers, and the sum is 80. So likewise, you can increase the values of this return also, and also you can increase, but the return values you should understand. So this is a tuple. You should understand this 80 is the sum and this 8 is the number. Or else you can say print. You can use the same print statements here also. And then return the values. Okay, all are same. So this happens to be at each iteration. So you can come out, you can just place these print statements outside this for loop and restrict the print statements. So if you're not understanding this, let me delete this and assume that I don't have any list here. So now I say LST or my list. LST is equal to, I'll give different set of values now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Now if this is the list of elements, and now if I want to find how many numbers are there inside this list and what is the sum of all the elements, where I have created my own function, my underscore sum. So I'll be calling this by its name and I'll pass an input argument called LST. And this gives me how many number of elements in the sequence? There are 9. 9 elements inside the sequence. And what are the sum of elements in the sequence? 90. And this happens to be a tuple. Why? Because you have written in terms of tuple here. 90 comma 9. You can use it in future. You can use it in future. So I could say A comma B. Okay, I could say A comma B is equal to my stuff, and then I could print, okay, print A, and I could say print B, or I could use these values somewhere else. So that's why I call this as a fruitful function. See here, print A and print B. I can use this for some reference, or I'll use this for some other purpose in future. So this is an input argument. So you should know how many outputs from this function. How many outputs from this function? So many variables will be assigned at the left hand side. So this is my function, my own user defined function. So you might get this kind of questions in exam. Okay, it is not only the for loop what you will be creating, but also you might be asked to create your own function which behaves or which returns the accumulator value. See how it can be framed. Define, write your own function. So they will also give the function name. What should be the function name? Sometimes they give, write a function with my underscore fun or my underscore acc, which returns the accumulator value of the given list of sequence. Correct? Given list of sequence. So in different ways it can be asked. So make sure you study these concepts and remember some terminologies like accumulator and a pattern, looping pattern, counting pattern, summing pattern, and so on. Okay. Likewise, I have uh, LENGTH, LEN, the length of the list, already built-in function, LEN of LST. So this is also a built-in function which gives the length of the sequence, the same value. Just like your sum, okay, just like your sum function, you have a length function too. Okay, so this always gives you the last recently compiled result will be seen on the output window. So not to worry, if you want both the results, you have to use print statement in Jupyter. This is a small constraint here. If you want both the statements to be visible on the output window, you need to use, it's inevitable, you have to use this print statements 2 times. Otherwise, recently executed values will be displayed on the output screen. Okay, so now that is just a note. You can also use alien, but in examination it will be very specific. You have to use for loops in order to get the length of the sequence, count the number of elements, and sum of the elements. Now I'll give you some 5 minutes of time. Can you find the largest find the largest value inside the given list? Okay. Can you find the largest value inside the given list? I'll give you some 5 minutes time. Just try to write the program using for and if, because you know you have to compare the value of the largest with itself, with the iterative variable. And just let me know how do we make use of for loop and the conditional loop in order to print the largest value in the given sequence, the given list or sequence. 5 minutes time, guys. Okay. Just write it, and if you have written, just please share it on the screen. Sorry, share it on the chat window. Okay. You may share the program here. So none of you have. Okay, if not that much proper syntax, at least you could share some algorithmic view or the pattern how you understood the program. Just an algorithmic, like say, sir, I will read the list, I will read the first variable in the list, I'll compare that with the second variable. If it is greater, okay, if it is greater, I'll read in the same. If it is lesser, I'll replace that current value by the greater value. And the loop iterates and the loop continues. Okay, I'll give you another 2 minutes. Just try, give a try. Yeah, one person has given a try, but he has used the indexes here. See here, list of I. List of I refers to what? The list of for I in range, length. Yeah, he has used length here. Little complex, right? So I just try to rearrange the code which has written. So at initial level, using these indexes is a bit difficult. So what he has done here is for I in range. So if I just try to take these two programs out of what Prem had written, okay, if I just take this, okay, these two things, very crucial things, and let's say like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 0 is the first index of your Python programming. So it is 0 to 6. What happens if I use only length of list? So it will be 0 to 7. So there is no seventh element here. List of 7 is something else which is not there, right? No elements here. So it should be -1. So that is why Prem has taken it as -1 here. Okay, just in order to say zeroth element, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Correct? And then if list of I greater than list of I plus 1, much similar to your C programming, list of I plus 1 is equal to list of I and list of minus 1. So he has sorted this list from descending order. Sorry, ascending, descending order. Yeah, largest to lowest. No, lowest to largest. It is ascending only. So list of minus 1 would give you the last element inside that list. He has sorted this. So rather than doing in this way, which is little complex, understanding the indexes priorly. So what I do, I'll just stick to a very simple concept since we have learned uh, the for loop and the iterative variables. I should see the use of iterative variables inside this for loop. So I say largest, I define a largest variable as none. So initially, so then I say for ITER VAR, that is my iterative variable. You can have your own variables. And say I'll make use of the same list where Prem has given for I in list. Okay. If largest, understand, if largest is none, and if largest is none, or sorry, if largest is none, or ITER VAR is greater than largest. Okay, colon, largest is equal to ITER VAR. And then come out of the loop, print largest. If I run this program, ITER VAR. So now I get the same result what Prem has got, but in a simple way. The thing is, I've just initiated a variable called none. None means empty, void. So for iterative variable in list, so what is list here? List is the same list what my friend has used. I'll use the list here in the same program since it was declared in other cell. So this is the list. For iterative variable in list, you could print that ITR VAR and see what happens. So see here, in the first iteration, iterative variable was 50. If largest is none, this was true. So this was true, right? So once this was true, the largest value was given as iterative variable. You can print here also. Print the largest value inside the loop. Now you can see, say this was true. So it is printed here. ITER VR is 50, the first value 50. If largest is none, so this was true in the first iteration. So largest was given the value of that iterated variable value. The new value has been assigned, and see here this has been printed. So you get the second element, that is 50 second time. And now it will go to 10. See, it will go to 10. So it is printed here. See, largest was not none, but iterative variable here, it will be checking with the second iteration. It will be checking with the second condition. Is 10 greater than 50? It is false. It is false. So this will not be implemented or this will not be executed. And then it will go to 1. It will print. See here, 1. But again, this fails. This happens to be executed only once. And this one, second one, this fails because 1 is lesser than 50. Next comes 88. This is true. Why? Because 88 is larger than 50. See here, 88 is larger than 50. So I have printed this largest number inside the loop. This is why second time 88 is appearing. So if you want more clarity, I could use this print statement out of the loop and say, here I'll just give some print statements here, and I shall remove this. Okay. And I would say this as a largest. Okay. And here I would say print before just a couple of print statement to give some clarity to the user. So now you could see, do I have used any other statement here? No, fine. Okay, yeah, here you could see now I want both. Here inside the loop, if I want both ITER, VAR and largest value, you can better understand now. So just at the first iteration, largest is none. Largest is none before you can see here. So the iterative variable value is 50 and I got the largest value as 50. Here the largest value is 50 and iterative variable as 50. Now iterative variable is 10. Still the largest value is 50 only in the second iteration. In the third iteration, iterative variable is 1. Largest value is still 50. In the fourth iteration, see here in the fourth iteration, iterative variable is 88. Now this is true. So the largest value is getting replaced by the iterative variable value, which is 88. And hence again the next iteration 22, both are false. In the next iteration it is 2. Again this is false. Both are false. So it remains same 2 comma 88, 22 comma 88, and it ends here 3 comma 88, and finally the largest value is 88. It remains to be the same value. So what if I want to get a smallest value, guys? So this is for the largest. What I need to do for smallest? Yes, first. Hello. What if I want to do in order to calculate the smallest value?
Replace greater with smallest.
Replace this greater than with smallest. So this I'll replace it by smallest, and the rest also I'll just try to replace it by okay. So here I'll call this as a smallest. Here smallest, anywhere else? Yeah, here. This 2 and this 1 also, and just variable. I'm just trying to replace these variables. What happened here? Smallest is not defined. What happened? What is this error?
Sir, capital S.
Okay, good. So now I could see. Yeah. Got it. Thank you. So now you could see I just replace this greater than value to lesser than value. That's it. The rest of the things are the variables which have changed from largest to smallest. The program remains same. And now this is smallest in the sequence. Okay. So here this loop operates in a reverse direction, like how you have studied in your previous largest number loop. So here it is exactly reverse. Okay. And we shall try a couple of more examples. I'll take, since one of your friend has given some value here in terms of range. So just see what happens here. Print range of 10. It will print as it is, range of 10. Print list of range of 10. See here, print list of range of 10. It will print the list of values between the range 0 to 10. The initial value is 0. The last value is 10 minus 1, that is 9. Because the index value of Python is 0. It starts from 0. Okay, it starts from 0. The range value also starts from 0. 0 to 9. Now here you could see the range of 2 to 8. From 2 to 8, and the sequence and the difference between two numbers, it's a unit difference, right? It's a unit difference. The interval is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I specify print the list range of 2 to 20, this is just like your MATLAB, 2 to 20. 2 is the first range and 20 is the last range, but excluding the final value, and with the intervals of 3. With the intervals of 3. Now you could see 2 with the interval of 3 is 5. Likewise 8, 11, 14, 17. It could have printed 20, but it excludes the final value. Understand, it excludes the final value to be printed with the interval of 3 starting from 2. Now I will call this program. I'll just try to, since one of your friend has used an index. Okay, so how this for loop uses the index to print. Here see, for I in range, length of gender. Gender is an sequence of strings or sequence of names, say for example. So here he has used some print statement. I like gender of I. What is gender of I? Gender of I is nothing but gender of 0. You could see here. Okay, you could see here GENRE. Okay, be careful. Whenever you are trying to call the index, it should be a square brackets. I could see gender of 0 is pop, and gender of 1 is rock, and gender of 2 is jazz, and gender of 3 is, see here, list index out of range. That means there is no index. If you add one more, now it would be true. Now this would be true. Okay, so likewise I could call the list of elements using for loop with an index. See here, I could iterate over the list using an index values. Likewise, I can also use else statement. I can also use else statement. See here, I have digits is equal to 0, 1, 5. For I in digits, it will print all the digits values here, 0, 1, 2, and 5. If there are no digits here, after 0, 1, 5, it will simply print no items left. You see this? In the first iteration, it is 0. In the second iteration, it is 1. Third iteration, it is 5. So after this loop, else it will say no items left. Otherwise, you can exclude this and only print the list of items which is present inside the list. Or you use this. Okay. Again, another example. I want to display the student marks from the list of records. See here, this is different. Now this is a dictionary. Don't worry, like we shall study about this data types, data formats, okay, in the next coming classes. These are data types. These are different types of data types. Here the list, here it is a dictionary which contains the key value pairs. This is a key name and this is a value. Key value pairs are separated by colon, and each element of key value pairs are separated by a comma. So you call it as a dictionary within the flower bracket. I can have another key value pair. See here, I can have another key value pair of EC Let us give more marks to ECE, so I'll call it as 100. So here I am trying to display a student marks from record. See here, I have a student name called ABCD. Suppose if I'm trying to look for the student called James. Okay, so what it will do? It will go to for student in marks. So this is a dictionary here. For student equal to student underscore name. See here, if student equal to this name, at the first iteration, student will be equal to James. Is equal to student name. It is true. Why? Because I have given James, and the print marks of student. See here, marks of student, marks of James will be 90. Otherwise, no entry with that name found. See here, the marks of James is 90. If I try to call Harry, okay, if I try to call Harry, it would simply say no entry with that name. If I want to call with ECE, it will say 100. And but priorly you should know what are the names inside this dictionary. Okay, otherwise, if I say small j and Jane, so I'm worried because it is case sensitive. See here, it's capital James, it's small James. Okay, so be careful. Your Python is case sensitive with respect to variables. So dictionary is a pack of key value pairs. This is a key and this is a value. Always this index, see here again, this is index, marks of student. Index always refers to the key. Okay, marks of 0, this is nothing but marks of 0 is 90. Just like this. Digits of 0, it is 0. Digits, gender of 0, it is pop. See here, gender of 0 was pop. Gender of 3 was ECE. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So I can also use some break statements in for loop. Yeah, I could use this kind of statement. Suppose if I try to read some values for x in fruits, if x equal to banana, it will simply break. Okay, and types. See here, it in the first iteration it was apple, so this was false, so there was no break applied, so it has printed apple. But in the second iteration, there was x assigned to banana and x was equal to banana, and there was a break. That means this loop was broken. This loop was terminated by using this break statement. Suppose if I say cherry, okay, so I would get both the fruits printed, and then it will break if I have some more fruits. Okay, so this is a season of mangoes. So I would just try to put mangoes here. Can you see this? Fruit 3 and fruit mangoes are not printed. Okay. So if I say fruit 3, or else if I say apple, the loop will get terminated at the first iteration only. There's no list to be printed. See here, I can either use double quotes or single quotes to string, not to worry. When I use single quote, when I have something like this, correct? When I have something like this, if I have single quotes inside the string or the characters, I use this double quotes. Because if I want to say cherries, and in these situations, okay, apostrophe yes. So in that situation, I use double quotes. So otherwise, no problem. Mangoes. So now there will be a problem if I say mangoes. See here, it will not understand what kind of string it is. So what I do, I say double quotes, and here I say double quotes. Right? So I hope this will suffice the explanation for using for loops, and yeah, you can try many other options. just to check what happens if I use break somewhere else and so on. Okay. A pass is not there, nothing to worry. So it just a break is also not there. Just I've used it so that it will be useful for you people to understand when to break out of the loop. Suppose if I say temperature is equal to 35, this is a list of temperature values. Suppose list of list of this temperature is 35. So it will break and it will switch on the AC or something like that. You can just try to do something rather than go on reading the elements inside this list. You can break. Okay, and you can say, okay, fine, this is present, so I don't want further elements to be read. So you can just try to break that particular condition. Okay, yeah, so this was all about today's class, guys. So if you have any doubt, just let me know, and thank you guys for attending this